Welcome back to my channel. We're playing 20 questions with.
Mike Matteson of Inkdependence.
Yep. And so let's get into this. When I say fountain pen, what pen do you think of?
You say found hmm, uh, uh, Pilot 823.
How did you get into pens?
Long history of stationary nerdery, really. I remember like I would go through my mom's purse and like my dad's like pile of stuff and find cool pens and pencils. Like I was a kid who would like buy pencils at lunchtime or whatever at school. So yeah, long time nerdery. No particular incident. Yeah.
What was your first pen?
Um, I don't actually know. It was one of two. It was either a white and gray Rotring Core, or it was a Lamy Vista.
Okay.
But I
What?
don't remember which one. It's one
Oh,
of the two.
fair enough. What's your current daily driver?
I don't have one. I have so many pens inked up at one time that I don't have like one that I would call a daily driver.
All right. What's your favorite ink?
That would be Tasha Sabi Midori.
Oh, I just tried that.
It's
That
fantastic. I love that ink.
somebody else has already had that answer, and when they found out I didn't have it in my collection, they paid a ridiculous amount to send me a sample vial of it.
Wow.
What's your favorite brand of either pens or ink?
Favorite brand of ink is probably got to be Sailor. It's hard to find a bad Sailor. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
All right. Vintage or modern?
Modern,
Do you swatch all your inks?
absolutely. Yeah.
You've already answered this, but do you daily drive the same pen and ink combinations or do you switch it up?
I mean, I can answer the question a little bit differently, and that's that there are some pens that just get one ink in them for a very long time. So I don't know if I'd call it a daily driver, but whenever I'm using this pen, it has this ink. So like I said, Pilot 823 earlier, so that one has had Sailor Manyo Shirakashi in it for like
Okay,
I don't know, literally years. I just keep refilling it with that same ink, and it's been awesome.
fair enough. Do you have your nib writing samples in a way that you can flip through them when you're picking a pen, or do you just sort of know what's in each pen?
A nib writing sample? No, I don't do that. I just kind of know. I do have a test tube rack actually full of nibs. One sec, I'll grab that. So this is one of the ways that I organize my loose nibs. So
Okay,
like, Yovos and box and that sort of thing that
yep.
unscrew, I just kind of keep them in little vials and I can sort of just pick out the one I want.
I do the same thing, though I have far less loose nibs. They're mixed in with my ink samples. It's smart that you label them. I don't, and so it's just the random game of what's in this file.
I labeled the outside, like I used a label maker, and then I noticed that that was a dumb way to do it, and so I labeled the top with a Sharpie and it worked okay.
What's a pen you wish you could see in person?
Hmm. The first one? I don't know. Just I don't know, whatever the first thing was that somebody's like, yeah, this is a pen, and I'm gonna use this to write, and it's good for it. I want to see the first one. What's that one like?
Honestly, I love that it's. What's your current grail?
I don't have a grail. I'm kind of like I don't even know what would count. I feel like a grail has to be something that's super desirable and unattainable, and I don't really know what that would be for me. I think it would have to be something vintagey because most modern stuff you can just buy if you have sufficient funds, and that doesn't feel graily to me, and I don't have one that I'm hunting, so I don't know. I don't have one.
What pen would you recommend to a beginner?
Probably something like a Twisby Eco or like a Pilot Explorer or something like that.
What ink would you recommend to a beginner?
Ooh. Um, I'd say just like have pick anything from like Diamine. They're inexpensive, they're high quality, and there's a zillion colors. So they can get something they're in love with.
Yep. What advice do you have for somebody wanting to try out fountain pens who might be a bit intimidated by the hobby?
Uh, don't be too intimidated by it. So, like one way to do that is to like maybe don't think of it as a hobby, but think of it as like a thing that you can use on a daily basis that's just gonna like make your life a little bit better in a bunch of small ways. Just like, try out using a pen, see how you like it.
What filling mechanism do you think is most interesting, regardless of if you like to use it or not?
Oh. Blow filler. I'm gonna go with blow filler. I don't want to use it. It seems silly, but also it seems just totally wild.
You've also listed something that I don't know.
Okay, so a blow filler is like like vintage pens that use sacks, right?
Yes,
So a lot of times there'll be
I
some
have one on my
mechanism.
desk
Cool.
that is inkable.
Right on. That's good. So I mean you want that.
I yeah,
Um
I use it.
yeah, good. So
Yeah,
all right. So most vintage filling mechanisms that have a sack have some way to like depress the sack. So it'll be a
yeah.
lever, or in old ones that could be a matchstick or like a penny or something like that you stick in a slot. There was one called a blow filler that didn't have that. It just had a sack and an empty and like in a pen, and it had a hole in the top. And so in order to compress the sack, you went into the hole and you compressed it with like just blowing air into the body of the pen, and then when you stopped blowing on it, it would reinflate the sack.
That is so weird, and now I need to see one in person.
I mean, they're not going to look amazing because it's just going to be a pen with a hole in it, but yeah, I mean, it's super simple. There's nothing to break down, nothing to rust. It's kind of genius, but
Okay,
yeah.
so somebody needs to do a demonstrator of a blow filler.
Yeah, for sure. I think that needs to be a thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What nib size do you prefer to write with?
I use them all. My default is medium, but like I'll take a double broad if I can get my hands on it.
Same. Is there a style of nib you love but never use
I love but never
or
use.
think is interesting? Honestly,
Um, I think like really flexible music nibs and that sort of thing are really interesting, but I'd never use them.
yeah.
I like to see other people use them, but just I don't have the talent, skill, or patience for it.
Do you always use the same paper? If so, what paper?
Absolutely not. I use a zillion different kinds of paper. Yeah. I mean, I have some favorites, but I don't use just one.
What is your least favorite ink/ink color family?
Um, I mean, color family is going to be, oh, I don't know, anything like super pale. You know, those inks that like
Oh,
basically don't have much of a color.
yeah.
I guess if that counts as a color family, it's a category anyway. I don't dig
It can
those.
count. I think I said, mm, yeah, I think I said like oranges or super like dark
Well, look, we're
blue.
out of time here. Sorry, no oranges. I'm out of here.
Well, thanks for playing 20 questions.
Was
That's
that the
all.
last one?
Yeah, that's all 20.
Good.